Okay, let's go back over here. Let's go to Matthew 16:19. Yeah. How in the start I told you that whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven.
Hmm.
Do you know where that idea comes from? I think it comes
Yeah,
from
it
Matthew
comes from
16:9. Matthew
from
16:9. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Yeah, so that's the thing.
it actually goes back even the Old Testament. This is somewhere in Deuteronomy, if I'm not mistaken.
So you should be submitting to the Pope. He just accepted it.
The idea is like as we said with Matthew 18, is that this is not seclusive to Peter,
Why?
because Matthew 18
Jesus
doesn't.
Christ only gives.
Hold on,
No,
pause.
I'm not talking about Matthew 18. I'm talking about Matthew 16.
Yeah, but it also it literally uses the same phrase that you're talking about, and we just clarified earlier that it doesn't even talk to Peter, so it's not
I'm pretty
seclusive
sure
to him.
it does. Wait. I'm
No,
pretty
you just
sure it
confirmed it.
does talk.
Matthew 18:16 to 20 doesn't mention Peter at all.
No, I'm talking about Matthew 16 to 19.
I know,
Authority.
but that
Wait,
same
wait, I think
frame,
I think you're confusing.
yeah,
I don't think it's the same thing. I think you're confusing Matthew 16 and 18.
you probably have like the application for you. Just pull up Matthew 16 and 18, right?
Yeah.
And you pull up verses 18 on both, and it mentions that exact same phrase you're mentioning right now.
Okay. Let's just get some context over here in Matthew chapter 16 or Matthew 13, like Matthew chapter 16 verse 13. When Jesus came to the region of Caesar Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" They all replied, John the Baptist, Elijah, Jeremiah, and other prophets. And then he asked, "But who do you say I am?" And then Simon Peter answers over here, "You are the Messiah." You see over here how he is the only one who confesses that Christ is God, and this is actually backed up by Matthew 17, Matthew chapter 16, verse 17. Jesus replied, "You are blessed, Simon, son of John." Do you see where I'm going with this? Yeah. Jesus doesn't say bless all of you. He says you are blessed, Simon, son of John. He specifies over here. Yeah. And then that same verse is again backed up with verse 18. Now I say to you that you are Peter, which means rock. And upon this rock I will build my church, and all the powers of hell will not conquer it. And I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Who do you think Jesus is talking to over here? Is he talking to all of the church, like all of his disciples, or just Peter?
Okay,
Do you get the idea over here?
to respond to that claim, can you type in another tab Matthew 16 interlinear, and I'll directly respond to your question while you do that. So the thing that's going on here, and I know like a lot of Catholics appeal to church letters, some of them, because of course not all of them agree on one thing on anything, to be honest. However, in this particular
What are you
subject,
talking about?
yeah, on this
Okay,
particular
yeah, sure, go
subject,
on, go on.
they understand that Peter confessing, he becomes part of the rock. And so to understand this,
No,
wait, hold on,
no.
hold on. To understand this, we have to use the interlinear. That's where that line of thinking is coming from. So, do you have it pulled up,
What
by
does
the way?
this wait. What does interlinear Bible mean?
So interlinear is basically a Bible where you use a translation in some language that you know, and then it uses the Greek and it puts the words side by side so you understand where these words are coming from and how they translate. So it's like you're literally using the Greek alongside with English or any other language to understand the text. So in Matthew 16:18, if you actually look at the name Peter, it says Petra, Petra.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm on this website called as Bible Hub.
Yeah, that should be
I
correct.
okay. Wait a minute.
So yeah, it's weird because it's from right to left. So you're gonna scroll down to 18 and then find Peter, his name.
Okay,
Or I can
Peter's Confession
see.
of Christ. Okay, yeah. No, wait. This is not the exact chapter that
See
we
if
are
I can
looking
find it.
for.
Okay, I have it on my screen. So it's like one, two, three, four. It's like the ninth word from the left. Do you see it? Where it says Peter?
Wait.
No, no, like
You mean like the I'm on this Matthew 16 page, and you mean like from right to
is
left?
that what you
Yeah,
mean?
I'm looking at it.
All right, so here it is. It's Matthew 16, the interlinear. So here's the English, and then right above it is the Greek. Okay.
Wait, bro.
Oops.
This is I can't see anything properly. The qualities. Okay, yeah. Okay,
Okay, there we go. Anyways,
my
so yeah, that's fine. That's
it's
fine.
still like very. Okay, yeah,
Okay,
sure.
so
That's enough.
here's the word Peter, and it's Petros, and then remember the clarifying point on this rock. It's a different
Yeah.
word for rock, and it's Petra. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because
I mean, if you look at the English translation, it says the rock. Doesn't say a part of the rock. You know.
I get that. If you actually read these two words, there are two different sentences of the word rock. One's a cornerstone, which is Jesus is referring with Petra, but Petros is feminine and it's used to as a uniform embedded rock. So if I click on Petros, it'll literally tell me that exact same thing. Watch, we'll see this, right? Petros. We highlight this so we can look it up. Type meaning. You can look it up in strong concordance, but this just helps. The name Petros, or of Greek origin, means stone or rock. It is the Greek equivalent of the Aramaic name Cephas, which Jesus gave to Simon in the New Testament, signifying as the foundation of the Christian church. Pictures can also refer to a small stone. The name is often associated
It's
with larger.
scam.
Wait,
Wait,
hold
wait,
on.
wait, wait. I think you're forgetting something.
Wait, hold
Huh?
on. I'm almost done. The name is often associated with the larger concept of a rock or foundation, according to religious texts. If you actually pull up like church writings and early commentaries, they understand
Yeah.
that when Peter was confessing, he becomes part of the foundation. That this rock, another different Greek word that
No.
refers to a different thing,
I
is
think, I
being the
think, I think.
cornerstone.
Wait, 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 wait.
Yeah.
I think you're forgetting some context over here. Doesn't Jesus Christ ask that question to like everybody in the room over there, and everybody gives a different answer, and it's only Peter who says, "You are the Messiah." Yeah. So don't you think he's referring to um? Don't you think Christ is referring to only Peter over here as the rock or the initial big rock? Do you get it?
Yeah, but I think you're hyper focused on something that has been done even like before leading up to this. Like so many people have confessed Jesus was God even before Matthew.
Again, but among the disciples, who was it? Among the apostles.
So, like that's just one of the instances that a lot of
Weren't
people
you the one
witness.
telling that? Wait, weren't you the one telling that? All the disciples of Christ just boiled down to 12, and up and in those 12, only Peter is the one who said that Christ is God.
Yeah, other people have realized that he is God, but that doesn't mean that they're disciple apostles. You're kind of like conflating those two. I'll give you an
No, I
example,
think.
right?
Okay,
John the
yeah, sure.
Baptist, before he got beheaded, realized that Jesus was God. He was an apostle. The woman at the well, the chapter or two chapters later
The
than that,
Samaritan woman,
the
yeah.
Samaritan woman realized that when Jesus was referring to the Messiah, she responds to God. So she also realized that as well. And Jesus clarified that I am he that you're speaking of. I think there was a centurion. I think it's in the same book. It might be in another gospel, but I'm pretty sure it's early enough that a pagan centurion literally said, just say the word and so let it be done. So he's acknowledging he has the authority to act whenever, wherever. He's not limited in any sense of the word. So these are confessions. Like they're admitting. Like they're not saying this special phrase, but the concept is they made a decision in their mind and they're accepting the objective reality that Jesus is God,
Again, I
regardless if
think.
they're being asked this specific question pertaining to like Matthew
I
16.
think like the word Petros that you just popped out. I
Hmm.
think it just answers your own question. The people who are telling that, yeah, Jesus Christ is God are like are the smaller rocks. But when Jesus Christ says to Peter that you are the rock upon which I will build my church, so that's like a rock that's of actual major value.
Yeah, but it's not
Do you see?
referring to the specific rock. Like on this rock, that's not referring to Peter, and I have it on the screen for you. In Matthew 16:18, the Greek words Petros and Petra are used, often translated as Peter and rock. Respectively, that means like each according to its own. While both words relate to rock, Petros generally refers to a smaller stone or piece of rock, while Petra signifies a large immovable rock or bedrock. So when you see on this rock, that rock that Jesus is referring to later in that same verse isn't referring to Peter because it has a different definition. Because
Okay, okay,
I
wait.
completely understand how you guys interpret this. I'm not saying like you guys are just making this up out of nowhere. From the grammar, I could understand this interpretation being uh something to look into. But if you actually stick with the text, they're
Okay,
both
okay.
using the
Let's
word rock,
let's
but they mean different things.
Okay, again, let's say that you are right over here. Let's say that you're right about papacy. I mean, let's say that papacy is wrong. Yeah. What about the verse in which Christ says that hell won't prevail against the gates of the church? Then you would be contradicting Christ. You know, the Bible would be contradicting if you make that reference. Do you get my point over here?
Yeah, so you're referring
If
to the same chapter. The
Yeah,
issue,
exactly.
yeah, the issue with
Yeah,
that
sure.
is that it doesn't mean like the church cannot be infiltrated because the issue with that is three chapters earlier in Matthew 13, God is bringing up an issue that the disciples brought up to him, and they said, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of tares in here with the wheat, referring to believers and non-believers, or false people versus true believers. And it says, and they ask, should we remove them? You know what God says? He says, no, let them be. God will sift or separate the wheat from the tares. So the question is, can a church be infiltrated? Can there be like espionage and stuff like that? Yes, because Christ clarified even before Matthew 16. So
Was this before or like after the descent of the Holy Spirit? Again, the
that
answer
wouldn't
is
matter because it happened three chapters before Matthew 16, where he clarifies
I'm
that.
okay. Again,
Mhm.
I think we all are getting this one point wrong over here. You know, okay, I can't lie, you got me over there.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, to understand that text, right? I'm not gonna fault for you on it because we sometimes forget certain things and we're used to like hearing from our side. But I just want to clarify something with you. Like understanding the gates of hell, they serve two functions. So obviously they can't serve the exact same one. Gates normally are used to keep people outside, keeping those within. So it doesn't make sense.
Getting this interpretation from
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense where it says the gates of hell won't prevail, since let's talk about succeeding. But the succeeding is what's deriving from the gates usage. The concept here is that the when Jesus said this on where the on this specific place, he's saying it in front of on top of a or front of the front of a pagan temple. He's actually making a declaration point that you guys will not succeed in everything that you have done thus far. Because remember, I believe you believe in the harrowing doctrine of hell, right?
Christ went into hell and then got all the good people out. No,
Correct.
not
And he got the keys of death, right?
yeah.
Which Revelation confirms that. So he's making a declaration. You guys will not prevail, dooming all of humanity in a sense, because I will have that authority instead, and I'll provide an alternative rather than
Okay.
automatically going to hell.
Hey, hey,
You
hey.
understand that concept?
Um, Ken. I think you know, you really got me over here. I actually didn't come with some preparation,
Hmm.
so I was wondering if we could have the same debate, like let's say a week after today. You know,
Okay.
I would like to do some research about this and then follow it up with
Yes.
more
So
understanding of the
that's completely fine. You can
church.
take your time. I'm not
You know.
gonna hassle you for it. Just let me know like a day prior to making sure we're like on the same
Okay.
time.
Yeah. Sure.
By the way, you're like 9 hours ahead. So whatever, when you're ready, let me know and factor that in.
Yeah.
And look into the interlinear. And on your own time search church fathers on Matthew 16, Petra and Petros, and they'll tell you the exact same thing I'm saying, but not all of them
Again.
say that. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Even if let's say the papacy was wrong, you're forgetting one crucial element over here: the Orthodox Church. Have you heard of it? Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I think you have.
are you talking
And
about the Eastern
the
Orthodox or like just being right Orthodox?
uh, I know Eastern and Oriental Orthodox just have like a very thin line of difference. It's between the divinity of Christ. I don't want to go in there. Okay, let me just tell you something.
Hmm.
Again, let's say that papacy is wrong, which I don't believe it is. Even if papacy is wrong, you still got the Orthodox Church. Yeah, I mean, even they don't believe in papacy, but they believe in almost all the same teachings as Catholicism. Yeah, that's why Catholics call the Orthodox Church as the other lung of the church. So even if your point is correct, I can still go back to orthodoxy. You know, Protestantism isn't always the truth. Do you get where I'm going with this?
Yeah, we can pick this up from another time. I'll give you something to chew on from the meantime. I would assert that the Catholics are the first Protestant.
I would deny that.
Yeah, that's fine. We could talk
You
about
do
that next
realize
time. That's
okay,
fine.
you do realize when the Great Schism happened, right? Or like why that happened. Exactly. I don't get how that's the same as the Protestant Reformation.
No, yeah, I'm referring to way earlier than that, but we can get into that in the next conversation because you said you have to go. What time
Okay,
is
yeah,
it for
sure.
you? Like,
Oh, it's almost 9 over here.
okay, that's fine. Yeah, we don't have to get into it because then we'll get lost in the conversation. But yeah, we can
Yeah,
pick it up
sure.
another time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you
Bye.
for your time. Well, as you can clearly see there, is that there's always repetition, right? You always tell these phrases. Here's the gotchas. He's these claims that don't really substantiate, but we actually get into the root of the text, point out certain things that are there or are not there. Certain things fall apart, and so as you can see with the Roman Catholicism, they always use these arguments. But if we actually put them in the fire to see if it stands true, it falls apart when some things are not. So notice how I mentioned Matthew 18, and he's trying to dissuade from that because if this was truly secluded to Peter, why are these unnamed individuals have the same quote unquote authority that only the vicar or the main head honcho of the Catholic faith is supposed to exercise through those that are considered lower? Why are they also having this ability when it's supposed to be in Peter? And Peter is not even present within that text as well. So you will have to basically stretch and substitute some words in there to fit your narrative. I'm just being generous with the text as it's clearly conveying. So, to assert this view, right? If the church papacy is false, then there isn't some kind of hierarchy of believers when we're all in one in Christ, right? This is an externality thing. Everything that from the disciples, apostles to like various other peoples within the church. You can see First Corinthians 12. It says are all apostles, right? Which I was trying to bring up to, but it seems like he wants to change um, the argument when it's not really going his way because of course it doesn't stand very well. And so obviously research and just going into like from the top of my head, these are things that you have to consider before making a judgment call, which is, of course, submitting to any type of authority. Does your section, sector, denomination, religion, faith, whatever you want to label it as, is it actually in the line of the Word of God? And if it's not, then that's the issue. You will have to substantiate where you're coming from. And there's a lot of error. Most likely, this is not what we're supposed to be under. We're supposed to be under Christ, not something that was man-made. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this particular video. Hopefully you enjoy it. Um, Always like and subscribe. For your comments really, and yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.